Hi, my name is Sherry Kahn, and I'm the Discipline Chair for History. And I hope this tutorial on how to build out quizzes in BrightSpace is helpful. I think that you'll find that there are many similarities between BrightSpace and Blackboard. There are two ways to build out a quiz in BrightSpace. One is to go through course tools and course admin, and the other is through content and through your weekly or modules. Right now we'll start with through the admin. Course tools, course admin, and you go to quizzes. Once in quizzes, you want to add a new quiz. You're building out a new quiz. You'll notice there are 6 tabs at the top, and this gives you many options as you build out your quiz. Here you name it. We'll say EVA. You can add a category. That's an umbrella term, as you know, so that if you have all your exams under one category, and EVA is one of them, then that is also how it will appear in the grade book. But if you do not want to have a category, that is also an option for you. You add and edit questions here. You add a description, introduction. If you'd like a header or a footer, or if you want to allow hints to disable, right-click, disable email, instant messages, and alerts. You can do it here. Notification email is if you would like to get notification through email when a student has completed their quiz. When you go to add and edit questions, click on that, and you'll find there are 2 options. You can import. So if you have created a file that is a question bank, you can upload that file and it will go into a question library. If you've already uploaded the question file, then it will be in your question library and you would choose Browse Question Library. If you have a learning repository, you can import your questions from there. Since this is a blank shell, let's go to add a new question. A question pool is a pool of questions that you can create for a particular topic you're teaching in your class. Let's go to new question. Let's go to TrueFalse. Over on the right, you'll see that as you create this question, you will see it typed out very clearly here. I would like a good semester. Let's hope that's true, and save. We can add another question. New question, another true-false. I enjoy seeing the sun. Let's hope that's also true. Save. As you build out your questions, you will see them here listed. Once we complete the questions, we go back and we go back to properties, and you will see all your questions listed here that you've created. You'll see the type of question they are and how many points they're currently valued at. Because there's only 2 questions here, I would put 2 questions per page. But if you have a large quiz, you can make the options of how many questions you want per page. Now, this is, let's say, a syllabus quiz. There we go. Click Save. Now you're going to tell the student, you're going to set up when this is going to be open and available to them. The due date and the end date can seem confusing. The due date is the date that the exam or quiz is due. The end date is the day the quiz or exam is completely unavailable to the student. You can have no end date or just a due date, or you can have both the due date and the end date as the same. Now, we can unhide this from users. This due date, we have a due date here, we have a start date. We have an end date, which is the same as the due date. If you want to create, if you want your end date to be some other day other than the due date, it must be after the due date. So if you, right here, we have this due date is March the 2nd, and it closes at 5:50 p.m. That is when this quiz is closed. But if we want to create this to where it ends and it's at 12 a.m., it will not let you, because the range is invalid. The due date must be before the end date. So we can make the due date 11:30 p.m. and the end date 11:30 p.m. and the due date 11:30 p.m. It's good to display it in the calendar so the students can see it. Release conditions, you can create them, and then here, and you can utilize Respondus here. Advanced restrictions, timing, recommended time limit is just that. It's recommended. It does not stop the clock. A student is allowed to continue taking the quiz after the due date has been exceeded. Enforced time limit, you give a student a grace period. You have to give them a grace period, even if it is 1 minute. Otherwise, it will not save. You have these options of what the student's allowed to do with the grace period. They can continue working, or they can continue working and it won't be scored. These are the options you have. Special access in the default allows all students that are in the class to take the quiz or the exam. When you add a user for special access, this is where you allow students who are registered with disability services who need additional time to complete their quizzes or exams that access. It also allows students who are making up a quiz, if you allow them to do so, to do it. So let's say we have a student who needs special access. Now we have due dates and end dates here. No changes in timing mean that the timing that you set up in properties is the time that this will go by. If a student has started an exam and lost internet, and so they've already started an attempt and they only had one attempt, you can allow them to override that attempt so that they can start with a clean slate. If you have a student who is registered with disability services and needs extended time, then you can make a change. You can have you can do a new recommended time limit or an enforced time limit. Once again, just like you had that option on the Properties tab. Here we have listed the test student, but this is the area where you're going to see all your students in that class. Once you complete what restrictions you have on this student's access to the exam, you click on the name, the square next to that student, and you add special access. When you scroll down, you're going to be able to see under the Properties tab the student's name and their access that is specific to them. In the Assessment tab, this is where you go and you actually connect this quiz to the gradebook. Now, if you are putting together a quiz that is true, false, or multiple choice, and BrightSpace is able to do the quiz calculation, the grading calculation on its own, you may want to allow the attempt that the student, upon completion of the exam, the student's grade is immediately calculated. If you are doing an essay exam and you have to actually do the grading, you do not want to click in this box. You add a grade item. This is where you're connecting it to the gradebook, EVA. Category is none, 10 points, and save. Now, whether you're doing an essay and you are calculating the grade, you're grading this exam yourself, or whether BrightSpace is calculating the grade for you, clicking here in this box allow those grades to be immediately exported or automatically exported into grades. Here, just like in Blackboard, the attempts, you have options on attempts. Now you save and close. If you have learning objectives that are associated with this exam or quiz, this is where you would add them. Submission views is what the students are going to see upon completion of their exam. The default view says, your quiz has been submitted successfully. But let's say you give your students, you want them to see the questions they missed. Well, you can show the questions answered incorrectly, or you can show them the questions that were answered correctly if you give them more than one attempt. Here, it's pretty self-explanatory. Show class average, show score distribution. Again, that is up to you. These are just data points for your students to see if you wish them to see them. And report setup is simply where you can go in, and should you want to create a report and see, well, how are these questions? I'm creating this quiz, EVA, and you want to see how I want to do a report on question details, display difficulty for each question, or what is the standard deviation in the class, user statistics, attempt details. So these are all options of reports that you want to create. This is for your own edification to see how your quiz is being taken by your students, and any data points you would like to collect on that exam or quiz. Now, if we go into content, we can go to, let's go to week 2 module. Now we're going to delete this topic here. We want to bring this EVA into this module. We go to existing activities, we go to quizzes, and we create it, click on that, and voila, the quiz is in here. But let's say we want to do a pop quiz, or we want to create a quiz in the module. So we go to upload and create, and we can create a quiz. We enter the title here, EVA 2. We want to say syllabus quiz 2, and save. The next screen we see is a little bit different, but we want to create this quiz. So we're going to go to quiz setup. And where does it bring us? Back to these 6 tabs, just like when we went through the admin tool. And the same instructions hold true for creating and building the quiz out through your weekly module. Each of these tabs works the exact same way. Well, I hope this tutorial has helped you, and there are many other resources through CTLE and through BrightSpace where if you have any questions, thoughts, or concerns, those will be answered and addressed. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.